One. Okay. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Placerville City Council regular meeting of Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. If you would rise and join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All righty. Well, thank you very much. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Carter?
Here.
Mayor Clarici?
Here.
Vice Mayor Gottberg?
Here.
Councilmember No?
Here.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
Here.
Thank you.
All righty, we have a couple of ceremonial matters here. One of them is to a certificate of appreciation to Frank Bergen. The City Council would like to recognize and sincerely thank Frank for his dedicated service as interim chief plant operator at the Hangtown Creek Water Reclamation Facility from June 26, 2024 to September 15th, 2025. Frank stepped into this role during a time of transition and provided steady leadership, professionalism, and commitment over an extended period. His willingness to take on added responsibilities, his technical expertise, and his collaborative spirit have been invaluable to the city and our community. We extend our heartfelt appreciation for his contributions and for ensuring continuity and excellence in this important role, dated October 14th, 2025. And thank you, Frank. All right. You get a... If you'd like, you can talk about your interimness. That's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Of course. This is really important because that facility is expensive, as we all know, when we pay our bills. And keeping it running and keeping it running well is very important. So we do very much appreciate your efforts in that regard. The second one is a proclamation. Hold on, before we get going, does anybody want to say nice things about Frank? And from a public standpoint, okay, obviously somebody does.
Thank you, Mayor. I just personally wanted to thank Frank for his dedication, commitment, and service to the city's water reclamation facility for the last 16 months. From 2024 to 2025, my department experienced a lot of significant staffing shortages, and Frank was really the glue that held everything together at the water reclamation facility, and I really mean that. He showed up at a time when I was new in this role, when we had also the prior CPO had stepped down, and we needed help. And he also was co-CPO with the lab director at that time, but very soon after that, she was unable to come to work for a very long time. And so we were very short-staffed, and then by about May this year, we had some additional staff changes, and so we were really just down to the wire. Like there was nobody, very thinly stretched, and again, Frank, you really did a great job, and I just want to thank you sincerely for your commitment. Thank you.
Thank you for those very fine words. Oh, now they're just coming at us. Okay.
I'd just like to say a couple of items. As you know, I'm fairly new to the treatment facility, and I will admit that Frank has made it a very easy transition. He knows that plant more than anybody that I've met. He knows that plant in and out. He's been there for a long time. He knows how to run the plant successfully. He knows how to stay organized, and that's really helped me. I've got a visit from the state coming fairly soon, and Frank was very helpful in helping me find out where the information was and helping to organize that information and keep it readily available. So Frank is definitely a big asset to me, and I appreciate him being at the plant. Thanks, Frank.
Well, thank you very much. All right, anybody else want to say nice things about Frank? All right, up here. Anybody?
I think we have the best employees, and they're always stepping up, and just
right.
want to thank you so much, Frank.
That's right. Thank you. Okay. 3.2, a proclamation of the City Council recognizing the month of October 2025 as All Colors, All Cancers Awareness Month. All right, I got a resolution here with a number of whereases. A proclamation of the Placerville City Council recognizing the month of October 2025 as All Colors, All Cancers Awareness Month. Whereas, according to the American Cancer Society, cancer is the second leading cause of death in the United States overall and the leading cause among people younger than 85 years. And whereas, while cancer mortality continues to decline due to reductions in smoking, earlier detection for some cancers, and improved treatment options in both the adjuvant and metastatic settings, these gains are threatened by increasing incidences for 6 of the top 10 cancers: breast, prostate, endometrial, pancreatic, kidney, and melanoma. And I didn't realize there's going to be all these complicated words. Whereas in 2025, and I don't take this lightly, actually, my brother Fred died last year from cancer. So it's a very serious thing. Whereas in 2025, more than 2 million new cancer cases are expected to be diagnosed, with approximately 618,120 deaths in the United States. And whereas Images of Hope, El Dorado has hosted the Pink in the Night awareness campaign throughout the month of October in conjunction with National Breast Cancer Awareness Month since 2013. And whereas Images of Hope's vision to create opportunities where cancer patients, their family members, teachers, and community can participate in all aspects of the arts and foster an environment where creativity can flourish, and serves all El Dorado County community members touched by cancer and other trauma. And whereas Images of Hope has launched the All Colors, All Cancers campaign to raise awareness of all types of cancers, early screening, healing arts, and art and movement therapy to all those touched by cancer. And whereas in 2020, Images of Hope commissioned artist Andrew Vonderschmidt to design and fabricate an art installation to raise awareness of all cancers. And whereas the art installation, a large depiction of an awareness ribbon in 6 primary and secondary colors with illuminated pink panels, has been temporarily installed at the Bell Tower on Main Street throughout the month of October in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024, and has been installed in 2025. And whereas the City of Placerville joins communities across our nation to increase awareness about the importance for everyone to make informed decisions with their health care provider about early detection and testing for all types of cancer. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City Council of the City of Placerville does hereby proclaim the month of October 2025 as All Colors, All Cancers Awareness Month, and commends this observance to all citizens, dated October 14, 2025. Do we have someone here? All right.
So, first of all, thank you to the council for this proclamation. And thank you to Dennis for his help with the art installation, with the ribbons on Highway 50, and the involvement of the entire city in helping us make this awareness available. We really, when we light up Main Street with pink lights, when we put the the things on Highway 50, when we put up this is Andrew, by the way, the artist who did the piece that's down at the bell tower. When we do all of these things, it is for a purpose, and that is to remind, like John said, we all are touched one way or another by cancer, and with early screenings, we have the opportunity to hopefully save a few folks or give them a few more years of life. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Does anybody else wish to speak on this item? All right.
Paul's a lot taller than me. I just want to thank everyone for the support over the last 5 years. Had no idea this thing would keep going up. I had no idea it would survive this long. As Paul said, it's a very important subject to all of us. If you wonder why I wear purple in my beard, it's to remember my mother. And so I like to dedicate this ribbon to her this year. Thank you all for trusting us to keep raising awareness for this important cause. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Anyone else wish to comment? Okay, any from up here? Okay, all right, we'll bring it back. Let's see here. The closed session report, Attorney Ibrahimi.
Thank you, Mayor Clarici. The council did meet in closed session on one item. We received 3 public comments in advance of adjourning. The council met to discuss a letter received by Sue and Tim Taylor alleging that the council committed a Brown Act violation during its August city council meeting. The council voted unanimously to conclude that a Brown Act violation had not occurred. Council members No, Gottberg and Clarici voted to not redo the meeting as a consequence. Council members Yarbrough and Carter voted to redo the meeting even though a Brown Act violation did not occur, so a Brown Act a new meeting will not occur.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have an agenda to be adopted.
I'll move to adopt the agenda.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Announcements, presentations of public, brief comments by the city council. I will start to my left.
Yes. Just quick little comment. I don't usually do that, yeah. Quick little comment. As a report out by my wife, Girls' Night Out was a great success. She had over 100 entries dropped into her bucket for the prize that she had out, and she said she had at least twice that many people visit her shop and boutique. So obviously, Girls' Night Out did a very good job at putting things together this year. So congratulations to them, and I'm glad they had a great event.
Yeah.
I have none tonight.
Okay.
I have none.
I went and attended Girls' Night Out with like a group of 7 of my friends. It was a great fun. A couple of our planning commissioners were in that group, so I was like representing the city, I guess, and all the women on the councils were out running around the city.
Very nice. I did not go, but my wife and daughter did, and they had a great time. I think one thing we should note this year, though, that Girls' Night Out and Pink of the Night joined forces, and so I think that really did also help with the whole event and all of that. So anyway, it was great. Apparently, a lot of people having a great time, and apparently very full of things. So very good. I do want to also announce that on Thursday in the morning, I am going to a ribbon cutting for, and who knew Placerville could have 2 grocery outlets, but this will be Grocery Outlet West, and I'm pretty excited by that. It's filling a storefront, which is always good. We always want to see the storefronts full, so that's a good thing for our community. And I think it happens I have it on my calendar. It's in the morning, like 10 o'clock or something like that, 9:30. So I'm very curious to see what it looks like after the ribbon cutting. So that's it for me. Would anybody like to comment on our comments? Okay, great. We have a consent calendar. all les petites consent calendar tonight, actually. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion by roll call vote unless any member of the council wishes to remove an item for discussion. The reading of the full text of all resolutions and ordinances will be waived unless a council member requests otherwise. So do we have any questions or comments or pulls? We do not. Would anybody from the public wish to comment on our very short consent calendar? Oh, seeing none, we'll bring it back here for action.
I'll move the consent calendar.
I will second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Carter?
Aye.
Councilmember No?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
Aye.
Mayor Clarici?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gottberg?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. I think we should take a moment before we proceed and notice that we have two people in places they're not normally. We have our new city manager up here and our new interim finance over there. And this is exciting. For one thing, I get to look over there and there's somebody new. So that's really great and very excited about the future with all this going on. So yeah, you too, Tim. It's okay. And you are, yes. I said somebody new, okay? You've been over there since the dawn of time. Anyway, but I just want to mention that because that's very exciting here. All right, item 8, public comment, non-agendized items. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons wishing to address the council on any matter not on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the city council. State law prohibits the council from acting on items not listed on the agenda except by special action of the city council under specified circumstances. The mayor reserves the right to limit the speaker's time to 3 minutes, which I am. You are not allowed to be nice, follow the golden rule, show some not compassion, that's the wrong word I'm looking for, but, kindness. There we go. That's a nice one, kindness. Okay. When we make our comments. Unless you're talking to us. You can say anything you want to us, but everybody else no. All right. I'm opening up now for oral communications. Does anybody wish to address the council on items not on the agenda? All right.
Good evening. Michael Drobish, Placerville. I don't know if I missed it. Clarification on if the contract with Arts still includes Old City Hall. And then, again, with Old City Hall, we are a Preserve America city. The plaque is right there in the hallway. 2013, Michelle Obama signed it. It's a federal program that gives grants for historic preservation. So maybe we need to look back into that and see if we can pull some out for Old City Hall. I've got the website, but we can all look it up. It's achp.gov/Preserve America. So just wanted to bring that back on the radar. Question for Trip to Green. I'd like clarification if the deadline is October 22nd, which is 30 days from the city's receipt of the letter from the consultant under NEPA. And where is the APE map, the area of potential effects? I don't even think it's been drawn yet. So how can we be asked to analyze structures or impacts within the work area if we don't even know where the boundaries are yet? I think it's a little premature, and that deadline needs to be requested by City Council to be extended because it's a little cart before the horse. And we don't have good designs, close-up designs of what's going where in the ground. There's some talk of over 40 signs across the city. We don't know the size of them. We don't know how they're going to impact all of our little historic neighborhoods. Is the thing going to be 6 feet wide and 8 feet tall? Who knows? We can't really be asked to give discussion of potential impacts to historic resources if we don't know what the plan is. So just again, anyone can send an email to the consultant in charge, who is the architectural historian for the federal environmental NEPA process under 106. And it's a public record, so I believe I can read her email. JENNA@GPAconsulting-us.com. and try and get your comments into by the 17th, because that is one deadline I heard, but I think it's actually the 22nd. So just, that's it. How can we look at something when we don't know what the plan is? Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
If barricades go up with this project, I would like to reiterate, I'd like them to look like the antique railroad crossing arms that used to be there instead of orange bollards.
Thank you.
Kirk Smith, I just wanted to offer a reminder that this Saturday is the Save the Graves event.
Yes, it is.
It's something that happens every year. And it's important to mention because I remember a mayor of the town years ago said that the local population didn't care about history as evidenced by membership in the Historical Society, which I'm pleased to report has hundreds of members. They meet every month for an event that sells out. 1848 Gold next door, yes, thanks for the direction, has had events where they have dozens of historic preservation groups. I've been to events there and been to events at Arts and Culture. Wonderful folks, both good events, but there's more people attending the other one, and it hasn't cost the city a single nickel. All the repairs they take care of, self-funding, and that's always nice to know that there is that interest in, among other things, the Union Cemetery that has so much history in this town. Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
So I'm disappointed, to say the least. So you've leased these buildings, the Confidence in Jane buildings, to the Art and Culture for $1, I believe. It's kind of buried. It was buried in, you had to go to, it wasn't on the agenda. You had to go to all of the reports on the agenda, which says we're renewing the original contract. You had to go to the original contract, which was not there. You had to go look it up somewhere else. So there was nowhere on your agenda that said you were also renewing the lease for the Confidence in Jane buildings to be held under the Art and Culture. Unfortunately, it was really simple. You just split them, make it clean, transparent, do this. The next step, when you don't comply with the Brown Act, is to take it to the district attorney's office. And I really was hoping that the city would just do this, make it clean, let the people know. The project was approved on a conceptual idea of 5 buildings being used as the Art and Culture Center. You were still working on these 2 buildings as if that is the plan for what's going to happen with this whole section. So I was hoping that the council would acknowledge that and say, are we still, at least tell the public, is that what we're still doing? I can't figure it out, because you're working on $200,000 worth of plans that you're using for a conceptual idea that you haven't done an environmental report for. So you can't, you're going to have to do that after you spend all the money to figure out if you can even have done that. So it's the most convoluted project I've ever seen, and I volunteered to crawl up on the roof and put a tarp on it like 8 years ago. It's still open to the rain, is what I'm hearing. I'm just devastated that it's almost like spite. We are not going to fix this building. We're not going to make it healthy. We're going to let it fall apart and keep spending money when it's under somebody else's purview, but yet you're spending all the money from the city's general fund to do what? Anyway, I just want to see those buildings saved, and if the next step is the next step, it's just sad that you couldn't just make this clean. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Anyone else wish to speak? All right, seeing no one else, I will bring it back here. Do we have any written communications?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, 2 items were received and copies are on the back table for the public.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All right, we're bringing it back. We did not pull any items from the consent calendar. We have, if I flip over the page, no ordinances, no public hearings. We are going to discussion/action items. 12.1, Old City Hall, Stabilization Agreement Amendment. Mr. Warren.
Good evening, Mayor Clarici, members of the council. So on January 25th, 2024, the city entered into an agreement with Architectural Nexus to prepare a stabilization document for Historic City Hall. The work first involved materials testing, which measured the strength of the building materials, followed by preparation of construction documents. Due to various delays, that work was not completed until August of 2025. The plans received did not include stabilizing the buildings, but using the existing scaffolding to achieve that. Staff and representatives met with Architectural Nexus and their structural engineer, Bueller Engineering, to discuss and review the plans. Originally, it was the city's understanding that stabilizing the building meant removing the scaffolding. After further review and discussion, it was requested that Architectural Nexus provide the costs for an addendum to the plans to remove the scaffolding. The second amendment to the agreement before you tonight will provide construction documents to stabilize the building to the point that the scaffolding can be removed. The cost of the additional work is $59,450. Staff is recommending an additional $59,450 budget appropriation from the general fund unassigned fund balance to cover the cost of the second amendment. And it would be an amendment to the agreement to Architectural Nexus. This project is exempt from CEQA pursuant to guidelines section 15301D, existing facilities, because the removal of the scaffolding is occurring on an existing structure in the city and for the purposes of restoration and rehabilitation. This work then will provide the information necessary for arts and culture to continue and finalize the fundraising efforts for the stabilization construction. I'm going to call them Arch Nexus because it's a mouthful. Work will take approximately 2 to 3 months to complete. Once the associated stabilization work is done, the scaffolding supporting the west wall can be removed, the roof can be replaced, and the tenant improvements and other work can be performed safely inside the buildings. Staff recommends the council approve the resolution before you tonight, and with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. All right, do we have any other staff here that could add? So, are there any questions first? Questions, comments, questions? Not yet. All right. I will make a comment. I was not happy with what happened. And I have been going back and forth with Greg, our person there. And basically, from my perspective, what I wanted, and this would address, is a solution that stabilizes the wall, stabilizes the building, and ties the wall to that new wall, and so we can put a roof on the place, because we have obligated ourselves to put a roof on the place. That's my feeling. I'm going to open this up for public comment because I want to hear what people have to say. Thank you.
Sue Rodman, resident of Placerville, and I have watched these buildings over years and years and years, and I have some questions. My understanding was the scaffolding was needed as part of stabilizing the buildings. Is that true? If so, has it served its purpose? Are Old City Hall and the Confidence buildings currently stable? How long has this been the case? That scaffolding has been placed how long? It seems like it's been there for a number of years. Why wasn't scaffolding removal part of the contract that put it up? Why now? The city may not be broke, but the budget meetings made it clear to me that the city is not flush with money, and there is no surplus $55,000 laying around either. Is the scaffolding ugly? You bet it is. Is it hurting anything? I doubt it. Is this a city priority? If so, why? When times are tough, we need to focus on the priorities. If removal of this scaffolding is not absolutely necessary, why are we doing it? So in other words, I think this is it's either poorly written so that nobody can figure out what in the hell we are really doing there, or else it's not necessary. And there's a lot of other little things that got, in the budget meetings, got cut, because we couldn't afford it. So why can we afford this?
Well, I got my hearing aids fixed, but the charger wasn't fixed. So that's a minor handicap because I'm used to arguing lost causes. I think that we've seen a tremendous amount of money put into these buildings. And we heard about it for decades. At first, there was a Blue Ribbon Commission that recommended that it be used for a firefighting museum, much like it functioned many decades ago, a century ago. And so that was explored, and it was rejected, and you went ahead, you, meaning the city, and sold it. And then the buyer discovers a lot of problems, and then you're back to square one. Again, I think that if you had held a public hearing in which you explored all options for saving that courthouse, you could have then done what politicians often do, which is ignore what the public recommended and go ahead and do it. But as it is now, that's the problem, is you have a record where you didn't explore that option. So we would be better off because the state has, a few years ago, $95 million for that project down at Forney Road. With that $95 million plus inflation, think what could be done now. Now, when it comes to arts and culture, they have a phenomenal record, the best I've ever seen in the city for raising money, grant money in particular, and for lobbying. Impressive. But who, in terms of a business judgment, thinks that that money is going to be around? There's tremendous budget cuts that have been occurring at the federal level. So it's just really risky to say you're going to make an investment based on speculation that that money is going to be available when already the Office of Humanities gets cut and so on down the line. So that's why I think it's a risky investment. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirk.
I think I said most of my comments last time, but I think we spent about $400,000 on this project of art and building and all those things. If you add up all the different things, and before all that money was spent, again, Lori Burns, the engineer, had given the city 3 options back in 2015 of how you could stabilize that building. I actually crawled around on the building up on the roof with her. I work with her. I'm a building designer, by the way. I've done structures for the last 20 years. I did the gatehouse for the fairgrounds. That was a very pleasant experience. I did the millworkers cabin at the state of California State Park that I worked with the state. Another nice project. It's nice when people in those jurisdictions appreciate you helping for nothing. So I look at this and I just think, $400,000, what could we have done to that building? I think we could have fixed the wall. You just bring in a professional brick mason. You don't need all these plans. You just, you know, they would rebuild these buildings in weeks because they knew how to build a wall and stabilize it and put tie rods across it. It's not that complicated. So when you started spending money on this path, I was there saying, please don't do it. Plans had been already submitted. I had given the city plans that would work. We gave you someone that could do it. And I wish you could stop this motion. And what if you took that money and put it in a pot to pay a professional historic brick mason to fix the wall? That's what you need. What makes the building structural is the bricks. You repair the bricks, you get the tie rods back in there to pull the wall back in. We've done this in our building. I have experience with this exact type of building, but yet I can't even get anybody in the city talk to me in a way that we could come up with a better plan. I don't understand it. So anyway, my suggestion is deny doing this. You've spent $144,000 so far, and I'd like to know what those plans were all about. And save the money to do the work. And if you need help knowing how to do that, I've got a lot of resources. I'd love to help you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
Good evening. So somebody to clarify, if 60K is going to get us to where we can start putting the roof back on the building, I'm for that. This close to it, because the roof is the most important part of a structure. Without it, everything else just gets more expensive with the damage that's going on. The question for the scaffolding, it looks like the city owns it. Does it make sense to just leave it there until the roof is done? If it would help in any way. And then council's going to have to decide if we do own it, then what happens with it? Do we lease it out to other cities that need the same kind of equipment and try and recoup some money? It goes to Auburn, then it goes to Sutter Creek, and it's something to think about. So yes, the roof most important. Question, does the city still have the 100K plus I think the roof was going to cost? Is that money still in an account somewhere? I do have ideas on fundraising for Old City Hall, but I'd like to brainstorm with some powerful people to see if they're compatible and appropriate outside of what the Arts Council is doing for fundraising. We'll have a race. And I also did crawl Old City Hall with Burn Engineering in the attic, in the basement, so I'm kind of familiar with it too. So thank you for the efforts to save something that is, there was a question is, how important is this? I think it's precious. It's like a family member. It's like an elder family member that you do whatever you can to get as many years out of as you can. And it's just as important as parks and rec. It's as important as most everything else. So continue going forward to save the building. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Please.
So I'm Victor Burbank. I'm with Architectural Nexus. I don't want to, and I really don't have enough of a background to wade into kind of the politics and the back and forth, but just to try to add some clarity to this. The facility as it is right now is in unsafe condition, and it can't be fixed by having a bricklayer go in and put in new brick. Unreinforced masonry buildings in California are not safe. If the building is owned by a municipality like this one is, there's significant risk in having anybody in those buildings. The scaffolding was added several years ago because the west wall is bowing out. So in other words, it's pulling away from the rest of the structure. Part of the engineering for doing that repair would be doing cross ties, but it's not something that can just be done. That has to go through a permit process. There's code that governs it, et cetera. So that all has to kind of happen in a particular sequence. The current, what was described, the current amendment, which was to get rid of the scaffolding, that portion, these buildings, these older buildings are complex and the systems aren't tied together. So there's multiple levels of what you absolutely have to do and then what is recommended to do. The scaffolding, to make the building usable, the scaffolding has to go away. Otherwise, you have half of the confidence building inside not usable because of all that scaffolding. But even once you get there, with the rain, entry issues, all that stuff, there's a lot of additional work that would have to get done for you to make it occupiable. So just wanting to say that it isn't necessarily a simple process. There's code that governs this, and that process has to be followed to be able to do it safely and then to be able to say now people can occupy this building. So.
Well, thank you for that clarification. I'd like to ask Greg to come up and kind of put a bow on this for us, please, because I think it's important to the public to know that if we take this action, we will have all of the what we call in the transportation rule, plan specifications and estimates, to actually then go ahead, whoever it is, to make the building such that we can put a roof on it. And then, of course, then tenant improvements potentially could happen after that. So tell us why that's going to happen, Greg.
Good evening. Good evening, Mayor Clarici, Placerville council members, Greg Horsfall, City of Placerville building official. Just to give you a bit of a background here, I started in 2022. The scaffolding was already in place. The city manager at the time asked me to perform an inspection and determine occupancy. Well, after reviewing the report in 2015 from Byrne Engineering, it was apparent that the building was structurally unsound and it had a temporary permit of the shoring to hold that west wall up. Immediately, occupancy was revoked, arts and culture moved out. Recently this year, we attended a meeting with ArchNexus and we reviewed the design that they were proposing. They took an aim at a full retrofit, which is what Byrne Engineering provided to us in 2015, a full seismic retrofit. Well, if you take a look at the building right now, you're going to notice that the temporary scaffolding is deteriorating, it has ivy growing on it, and that there are weeds actually growing through it. It is imperative that the scaffolding get removed and the building become stable. What's done with that is a different time and a place. But we asked ArchNexus, which was a fantastic firm to work for, to encompass in a revised design to include the current shoring elements that are on the interior of the building and come up with a way to stabilize it with new components on the exterior. That way, it would be able to facilitate like immediate critical repairs to the building, including the roof itself. So that's what we're discussing tonight.
So can you describe what might this, you and I have had multiple discussions on this subject. And I've been in the building with you, and we basically stood inside where they have all the temporary supporting and stuff so that the floors don't fall in on each other. And I said, Greg, it seems to me you're going to end up building a wall, a support wall, inside the brick wall that's going to hold all the load. It's going to go down to the foundation, into the ground, and then it'll hold up the second wall, the first floor, the second floor, and the roof. And even if the outside wall fell off, the building would still stand because you'd have this independent structure inside. Is that an accurate description?
That is accurate, and option number one from the Byrne report.
From the Byrne report, okay. And then part of what we got from ArchNexus, which was really cool, was this idea, and you see them on all the old buildings in town, and I think Sue may have mentioned them, these rods that go through wire, who knows what they'll use. And they go to the outside of the wall, they come out, you slap some decorative or even not so decorative thing on it, bolt it in, and you pull everything over. That and some other stuff will then bring the old brick wall over and somehow knit it together so that it's all cool.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
Essentially what it's going to be doing is accomplishing the same goal that the current shoring in place
Yes.
is serving.
Right, okay. And then at that point, if all of those things happen, we can take the scaffolding down on the outside. And that doesn't mean that with the bricks, we don't have to go back and remortar and all that. I mean, there's cracks and stuff, but let's not get into the details. Let's just talk big picture here. And then, once those two things happen, we can take off the outside scaffolding and I'm assuming, and then remove, or if it hasn't already been removed as part of the construction of this inside wall, the stuff that's in there now holding everything up. That would all come out.
It would.
Okay.
Yeah. And ArchNexus is a fantastic firm to work with.
Yes, they are.
I can't believe they pivoted so quickly to a new design.
Yes.
For us.
Thank you. Thank you.
They understand how important this building is to us and how imperative that the critical repairs.
And how little money we have.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I thought I'd just toss that. Anyway. Okay, so
Thanks, Victor.
the wall goes up, it all knit together, and that means that then we can put a roof on it. Great. Which is really the most important thing because it leaks like a sieve, and we have mold. We have lots of other issues inside those buildings. And that's, so this money we're going to spend, if we do it, if, I'm not prejudging here. If this gets passed the way it's described, we will get the engineering plans and estimates of cost for what the wall would cost to do, the inside wall. Does that also include the bolts and stuff, or do we already have an estimate for that?
No, that doesn't include the estimate for the cost. We've talked over time with.
Yeah, come up, yeah, please, yeah.
Yeah, no, our services include the architectural and structural engineering design. We don't have a cost estimator as part of that.
Okay. Why not?
At the time where we established the initial contract with the city manager at the time, we discussed what's in our scope, what's not in our scope, and that was kept out of our scope. So
Okay.
we don't have that. There have been sort of industry partners that have offered, estimates, but it's not, there's nothing official.
Okay. I mean, an engineer's estimate's always nice, but I've also found that sometimes, certainly in the transportation world, engineers' estimates are Ouija board sort of things. I mean, they put their best efforts into it, but,
Right.
yeah. It's a good, okay. But if we get this information from you, some really would be able to look at those and go,
Yes.
it's going to cost this much money.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think we're done. Thank you, Greg.
Thank you.
Yes. All right. I think we've exhausted everybody in the room to comment. And so do we have, now, bring it back. Comments, questions, go. Go.
Can I ask the consultant a question? Can you articulate, just for the record, exactly what you consider to be the scope of work of this new amendment, just so we don't have a repeat of the last problem?
Okay. So the scope of the current amendment is for ArchNexus, the architects, us, and Bueller engineers, the structural engineers, to do the analysis and develop the drawings and the details needed to take the scaffolding off of the west wall. So that'll involve what's already in the design, which is partial tying of things together, but also getting rid of the scaffolding so that at the end of the permit review process with Greg, you'll have documents that are approved that then a contractor or an estimator could look at, or a contractor would be able to price. And then my understanding is for the construction portion, that's on arts and culture, and so that's not included in the amendment.
Okay. Just to be clear, though, your drawings will include this wall inside the wall.
Yeah, essentially, I mean, the structural engineer will work through all the details. That wall is being stabilized with most likely another wood-framed wall
Right.
inside of it.
Right.
And whatever needs to happen to keep the brick from deteriorating further, it won't, when you're done, that brick wall won't,
Right. Well, that would
it
be
won't
good.
go out anymore. It'll be stabilized.
That would be good.
And we'll be able to put a roof on it.
And then we'll be able to put a roof on it.
And all of this is being done so that the building is structurally stable enough that you can put material on the roof and have people on the roof to actually be able to.
And they don't fall down to the basement. Okay, great. Any more questions?
That's it, thank you.
Wow, that was a good one. Okay, any questions over here? All righty. Whew. I can understand how people who have been around this thing for a while, and there's various versions of history, and I don't want to get into the history. Sue, you and I rarely disagree. I'm going to disagree with you. In the depths of the Depression, the United States built Hoover Dam, a dam out in the middle of nowhere, providing water to nobody at the time. And they found the money and they did it. Now, this is not the same. We're not in a depression. We do have a very tight budget, and that goes without saying. But at sometimes, even when things are tough, you have to go do things because they're just the right thing to do. And the right thing to do is making sure that this building doesn't fall into the parking lot, because that would really not be good. And so, and to prove to people that we are actually decent stewards of the real estate we own, to make that confidence happen. That's my humble opinion on the subject. So we've had discussions, we've had questions, we've had comments. Do I have a motion? Anybody can make one.
I'll make a motion to approve staff's recommendation for 12.1.
Okay.
I'll second.
Well, we have a motion. We have a second. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Carter?
No.
Councilmember No?
Aye.
Councilmember Yarbrough?
No.
Mayor Clarici?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Gottberg?
Aye.
All right, the
passes.
motion carries. Go make us plans now. Be thrifty. All right. That's it for that. We don't have any more things. Well, we do have more things, but nothing on. We have other things. Council reports from other agency meetings. And thank you all for the thoughtful comments. I really do appreciate it. I know there are people out there that think we don't listen to them, but we do. And we take what they say seriously. We just sometimes may not agree, and that's fine. But we do take everybody's comments to heart, and so keep them coming. And keep the energy coming, Mike. I like the idea of raising money. Okay, council reports from other agency meetings. El Dorado County Transit Authority.
Yeah, we did meet. We amended an operating budget for fiscal year 2024-25. We formed an ad hoc audit review for the independent fiscal and compliance audit reports. And we did also draft updated injury illness prevention program and capital improvement plan project 2404 collision avoidance system upgrade. So that's what we did.
It's a big day in transit. All right, El Dorado County Transportation Commission.
We did an amendment 1 to the 25-26 overall work program and budget, and we approved the financial element of the 25 to 45 regional transportation plan.
Thank you. LAFCO.
We did not meet.
SACOG. We had a workshop in Elk Grove, a lovely place. I wouldn't live there on a bet. But it's okay. Just talked about regional stuff and other stuff. It was no big deal. Pioneer Community Energy Board of Directors.
We meet on Thursday.
Placerville Fire Safe Council.
We talked about doing our event this year, the first weekend in May. So once I have more details, I'll provide.
Fantastic. That's always a fun time. Opportunity Knox.
We did meet. We approved the contract for this year's winter shelters. There will be 3 of them, 2 on the west slope and 1 on the east slope. We also got an update on the Navigation Center due to some funding priorities that were changing at the federal level. The Nav Center is going to be doing a 360 or 180. Sorry, if you 360, you end up back the way you were. We're going to be doing a 180. So we're transitioning to more of a family setting, and those that are willing to engage in services, moving away from low barrier and harm reduction, and possible adding of work requirements and requirements to engage in services in order to remain in the shelter.
Yeah.
So that was our update, and that'll be happening over probably the next 16 months. That transition will be occurring.
Great. Well, thank you very much for that. Okay. Would anybody like to comment on our other meetings? Really? Okay.
No, just real short. Like when you, at the beginning of the meeting, you mentioned the ribbon cutting. I'd like to request that any kind of other important stuff goes on the city's Facebook page.
Okay.
It really has turned into fluff lately. I would like to see more important notices of meetings and other events, community events like that showing up on the Facebook page.
That's a great idea. Thank you very much. Make it so. All right. Do we have any requests for future agenda items? Okay. City manager and staff reports. Development Services Department monthly statistics for August. Ms. Kendrick.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The August Development Services summary included fees collected in the amount of $36,748 with 39 building permits issued, 34 completed, evaluation of $2.4 million, and we did, planning was about 3,000 of that, and the rest was buildings. So that's all I have for tonight.
Do we have any questions on that one? Okay, we don't. All right, great. Thank you. Now I buried my agenda. Receive and file September Fire Stations 25 run report. Chief Cordero.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You've been provided the run stats for Station 25 for the month of September. The crews have been active and busy, and we did participate in a couple of events locally. The El Dorado High School Homecoming Parade, Class of '87. I was glad to be able to be part of that, but we did transport the undefeated girls golf team on our engine, so kudos to them. And then we also attended the I-Walk, which is the International Walk School Day. Kudos to all the kids. It was a little bit drizzly and rainy, but it was a good event.
Cool. Well, thank you for that. Do I have any questions for the chief on that?
I forgot to mention that I did accidentally participate in the homecoming parade. I didn't know it was happening, and I got involved. But it was great. Everything looked good. You guys did a great job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I didn't mention that I actually judged floats. It's what you get to do when you're the mayor, and it was a lot of fun. And the old fire engine went by, and at first I didn't recognize anybody, and then went, oh yeah, I know that guy. Anyway, it was a great thing. So yes, it was wonderful. All right, do we have any public comments on that? Anything? Okay, great. Back to my agenda. All right, upcoming items, you can read those because hopefully all of you can read. We stand adjourned. See you October 28th.